Alrighty boys, welcome back to another video, and we have some more dev news. Alright, we got some more news. The devs keep posting. Like I said, they have not stopped, and you love to see it. We have a couple of threads to go over, and then we're going to go over some questions as well, like always. By the way, leave questions down below, and I'll answer them, you know, most of the time. But yeah, let's do it, okay? So we have quite a little bit. So first, we're on the original thread, the beta thread. Again, still, unfortunately, no beta 1.2.5, and still no move to live for patch 1.2, unfortunately. First, we have a player saying, when in November is this releasing? So I'm guessing he's talking about patch 1.2. So the devs previously said that sometime in November is when we're going to get the patch. Now people are asking for a more direct release date, and the community manager responds when it's ready. There it is, baby. That's what you love to hear. True. That is a true statement, isn't it? Next, we have a person asking, has 1.215 not been put into beta yet? No, it is not been. And the community manager responds, beta 1.2.5 is undergoing fixes we identified during the test. We'll be pushing it out once they have been resolved. There you go. So it is still undergoing fixes, but it should be with us shortly. It probably shouldn't take too long, but I see it coming out in November as well. When? Maybe this week, at the end of this week, maybe next week. It's currently Tuesday the 7th, so we still got time. We'll see how that goes. Next, we have a person saying, rather than using special abilities, shouldn't each weapon simply have a maximum amount of damage it's able to block with a skill multiplier? I can't read. So the better you are at using them, the more you can block, with the remainder going through. So the daggers can't block heavy hit from polearms, and you can block better with a sword than an axe. I don't know exactly how the calculations work when it comes to blocking, but I don't think it's a big issue right now, personally. Because even though, like, I'm pretty sure the block region, especially when it comes to shields, is a specific region on the character whenever you put it up to block, and that region is very, very narrow when it comes to swords already. So if someone's able to block with a dagger, like, that's not an easy thing to do, because like the blocking window is so tiny that, like, it has to hit exactly where the other player, where like the other AI is hitting you to be able to block it, if I'm not mistaken. But the community manager says, having a maximum amount of damage a weapon can block would bring some issues, like the player not being able to determine if they can block the incoming attack or not, thus turning it into a gamble, which is undesirable. True. So this would mean that sometimes you would try to attack an enemy, and then you would realize you can't even block their attack, so you would have to pretty much, like I said, you would have to gamble in every fight. Like, hey, can this person that I'm fighting, if he attacks me, do I have the right amount of skill to... It'll pretty much make blocking not really blocking unless you're the right level, if that kind of makes sense. So I kind of understand that. However, not being able to block with a dagger as much or as well with other, let's say, more conventional weapons make sense, we'll bring this up. There you go. So that might see a change. But I don't currently think it's that bad, in my opinion. We'll see how that goes, right? Next, we have another person saying, enable XP earning on community servers. How am I supposed to play with 200 ping on official servers to earn XP and coins? Okay. Community manager, this is for multiplayer, by the way. Community manager responds, we don't have any plans on this at the moment, unfortunately, due to modability of custom servers and multiplayer in general. Changing various parameters could allow for easy loot to be gained. Because they do have like that little loot system where you can like trade coins in for loot. So I'm pretty sure he's saying if they enable XP earning on community servers, there might be some people who try to finesse their way into getting all the loot as soon as possible. Like have one of those like lobbies. Like I know, for example, in Counter-Strike, I don't know if they still do it. It's probably still out there, where it's like this lobby where you go into it and all you have to do is just AFK in there, and well, it probably doesn't work that way now since in Counter-Strike you get like weekly chests and skins now. Before it used to be based on your play time, you would get like those chests that you can open for gun skins and everything. and people would just find like specific AFK servers where they would just sit there all day, and that's why some people had like 10,000 hours played. They weren't actually playing it; they just left their computer on because they accumulated more cases and skins that they could trade or open and obviously make money off of it. So people did kind of abuse that. So that might also happen here, even though obviously you can't really sell the skins for real life currency in Bannerlord. I don't think there's really a market for it anyways. It would still be a way for someone to just gain everything in like 2 seconds, probably not 2 seconds, but in a very short amount of time, and not how it was made to be made. So I can understand that. And then we have another person saying, I do not really appreciate the tone of when it's ready. Oh, brother, cry me a river. I don't appreciate the tone. Man, let me read this whole thing. I don't really appreciate the tone of when it's ready, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt as it is hard to convey feelings through text. Brother, that is your comprehension of them saying when it's ready. When it's ready is a perfectly good response to say when in November it's releasing. If they don't have a date, then when it's ready is a normal response. It's not passive aggressive. It's just might be seen that way by, you know what I mean, by this person in specific. However, if the tone is on purpose, I suppose you might be quite frustrated by the lack of progress in the state of the game. It is understandable. I assure you that we all feel the same. He might be he might be frustrated by like the 700 people asking the same question too. But hey, I'm sorry. Not trying to be that guy, you know what I mean? Not trying to be that guy. But I don't think that was out of frustration. I think that's just, a genuine answer. He could have said more, of course, but like, I feel like this gets to the point. I don't know. But he responds saying, not at all, just don't have much else to share at this point. There you go. So it's still in progress. And what did this person say? Oh, sorry, we have been annoying you with that, my lord. That's funny. And okay, now we have another person saying, do we know what changes we can expect going from 1.2.4 to 1.2.5? Is it just bug fixing or some bigger changes coming as well? And the community manager says other changes as well. We shared them in Community Tales number 3. Let me go over that real quick. There you go. So we are now working on beta 1.2.5, which will tweak the multiplayer changes according to feedback. Yes, there were a lot of multiplayer changes, 1.2.4. Troop changes, damage changes, and all that stuff to multiplayer units. So there's going to be more changes now that they have gotten from feedback to the previous changes. So kind of a little bit more tweaking. Include further stability and performance improvements. Obviously, balance the AI combat level calculations to better reflect the current skill distribution, as well as introduce a number of modding-related changes, such as improved world map modding and reduced mod loading times. That's pretty big. Reduced mod loading times and world map modding is pretty important in Bannerlord, especially for a lot of big mods, big overhaul mods. The improved loading times should help a lot. But yeah, it's going to be an alright beta. A little bit better than just, crash and bug fixes, but still no huge additions. Now we got one more saying, minor factions should represent alternative gameplay options. Okay, was there more to this? Okay, I don't know where that is exactly. Who said that? Oh, I don't know how to say your name also. Okay, here it is. Minor factions should represent alternative gameplay options, each type with its own unique characteristics and objectives. For example, I would love to join the Wolfskins and lead an insurgent force in Britannia. I agree with this, but also since the mercenaries or the minor clans are technically mercenaries, they don't just stick with specific kingdoms. So I agree, maybe they should have like specific. It would be cool if each single minor faction had like a specific 2 or 3 quests that only they can give you. So if you want to do the specific quest, it would be kind of rare, and also it would only be given by them. You know what I mean? That would be cool. Yeah, and it could be something like this, like, oh, the Wolfskins, if they're against the Britannia at a certain point, and you talk to one of them, a quest might pop up that says, oh, since we're at war with Britannia, we're going to lead a force to this castle and we're going to raid it or something like that. Do you want to come with us? Or we're going to raid a village. That would be cool, yeah. Like those type of quests. I agree. And the community manager response say, minor factions as they are right now are solo independent clans, much like the player clans. They are not on the same plane as major factions, which have multiple clans as part of their structure. Having that in mind, the fact that joining, exiting, or switching clans isn't a current feature. Do you have any suggestions on how you interact with them with the existing framework? Yes, make them give you quests. So for example, like I said before, if the Wolfskins are at war with Britannia, or let's say Vlandia, for example, because that's kind of like the area that they kind of like populate, right? Then the chance of a quest to pop up is higher. That's like, oh, raid a village with the Wolfskins. You know what I mean? And just like each single minor faction has like a certain thing like that. You know what I mean? And they all have backstories in the game, so kind of make it play off the backstory, the quest itself. You know what I mean? If they're an aggressive clan, then they're going to be attacking. If they're a more like, you know, peace, then they might be doing some type of trading, and you could help them with that. You know what I mean? Something like that. Make it only unique to each single clan, to make it more rare, more fun to find, and it'll be kind of like a breath of fresh air. Don't make it something that's like every other clan, or like every clan has the same type of quest. That would become kind of boring. Maybe like one unique for each clan is also good, because I'm pretty sure there's like 8 to 12 unique clans. So yeah, it's like 8 to 12 missions. So it would be kind of hard. You could obviously mix them around a little bit, but something like that would be pretty cool. Next, moving on to right over here, we have a character editor for the sandbox. Okay, this is a thread right over here, a suggestion thread for single player. And the person's suggestion is, maybe the developers would introduce a family members editor to the sandbox. I don't think it would be too problematic. Maybe for a small fee, who wouldn't want to support the creators? Okay, I would like to be able to create 2 or 3 characters. Surely, most would like to play their second half from the beginning and create her appearance as they wish. I play on PlayStation 5, so I can't mod the game. I would like to start earlier than the OC 20 years. Okay, so maybe like custom starts is what you're talking about? Or do you want like, you could play multiple characters in one world? That would also be cool. Like you progress through a world and then you can play as a completely different character. Because obviously you can switch to playing as an heir, but you're still gonna be playing in the same kingdom with the same money. But I think he means more like a completely different. Like I start out as a Vlandian lord, right? Take over a bunch of the map as Vlandia. Then I want to switch over to someone from the Khazate land and work with them. You know what I mean? That'd be pretty cool. Maybe that's what he means. Then we have the community manager saying, just to clarify, are you suggesting editing family members after the fact, editing your spouse appearance after you get married or an existing NPC, or creating yourself a spouse and starting the game married to the newly created character? And he responds, before starting the game, in any case, easy to get strong husband/wife, so make partner from beginning would be interesting. Choose this. Okay, so he's talking about custom starts. He's pretty much means like make a custom start so they can start with, you can start with a family, or you can start just by yourself like the normal start is. Yeah, I think custom starts should be a thing. You can achieve them with mods and stuff, but not mods, but also just like cheats, where you can like start the game, add a lot of cheats, different cheats to kind of like modify the game, like, you know, give yourself a fief, you know, start your own kingdom straight from the beginning, and then you can start your game. But I think there should be like a couple of custom starts. You know what I mean? I think Bannerlord is a game that's ripe for a couple of different starts, where you could be like, I want to start as a lord in Vlandia. I want to start as a mercenary for this. You know what I mean? I think that would make sense. And the community manager says, we will bring this up for discussion. Good. I think custom starts would be great for the game. Having like different types of starts, it adds a lot of replayability. The game obviously itself has a lot of replayability, but just those custom starts would make it so much better, because for new players, it's a big task to go from learning the basics of the game to you know, becoming like a lord in the game, which takes a lot of preparation. And sometimes, you know, someone new might want to like just hop into the game and be like, well, I want to see if I can handle just being a lord. Yeah, it might go disastrous because they might not know what they're doing, but it would still be fun for them to like have that option to be like, okay, I could either start from nothing or I could start from having a little bit of something. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool. And lastly, before we go over the questions, we have another post for what is the current state for hosting a server. We went over a couple of this stuff, which I didn't really understand, I'll be honest with you. But, we have an addition that's being added. With the 1.2.x series, we're making the following change. The auto team balance threshold option now accepts, now accepts numbers instead of enon indices. Indices? I don't know what this word is. This means that you can now set the auto team balance threshold from 0 to 30 players. Cool. More players? Yes, I think. It might be good to wait on that, test it, and see if the issue persists. Currently, the numbers you insert under auto team balance threshold don't directly represent the maximum difference between the teams in the game. Ah, so this will make it better. Cool. Now you can use numbers. Woohoo! Now moving on, 2 questions. Do you know when the next patch is dropping for Xbox and PlayStation? November, this month. Woohoo! When exactly? No clue. When it's ready. You heard it here from Boss Man himself. Where's he at? Where is he at? When it's ready, baby. There it is. Are cheats coming to console? Yes, they're coming to PlayStation and Xbox whenever it drops. When is it dropping? When it's ready, baby. But in November, this month. So 23 days at most, but it probably won't be 23 days. But they said if there's no big issues, it should be dropping then. Alrighty? So that will do it for me, and I will see you guys in the next one.